everyone! Today we have a review of the Kyosho MAD WAGON VE, not to be confused with the Kyosho MAD Van VE. I did experience that truck before, and because of that I was kind of interested to see how this one would do. I found this one for a significant discount at my local hobby shop, and I haven't seen a lot of reviews of the MAD WAGON around on YouTube, so thought it'd be a cool truck to check out, test, and review for you guys. So without further ado, let's head over to the desk and check out the Kyosho MAD WAGON VE. The Kyosho MAD WAGON is a 1/10 scale 4-wheel drive brushless basher monster truck that has a street price currently of close to $400, though depending on certain sales or coupons going on, you'll be able to find it for around $350 to $370. The truck features a 60s style Chevy style body with two color options, this white and blue and a white and black. The body has some hard plastic detail parts like the molded front grille with 4 light buckets. The rear is unfortunately just stickers. Roof rails that work as roof sliders, and a set of basic but pretty cool looking decals pre-applied. It's definitely not as pretty as Kyosho's own MAD Van, but the lack of shiny chrome mirrors and details does show that Kyosho really intended this thing to be a basher first and a showpiece second. If you really must have the chrome parts though, Kyosho does offer the wheels, the grille, and the front bumper in chrome-plated plastic. Speaking of the MAD Van, the name MAD WAGON would imply that this truck is the same as the MAD Van, but taking off the body, you will see that isn't the case at all. The MAD Van is based on Kyosho's Phaser Mark II on-road car platform, whereas the MAD WAGON is from the ground up an off-road platform. This will hopefully translate to better off-road performance and better durability. Some initial notes that pointed in that direction is that the plastic compound is much stiffer than the MAD Van while still being pliable enough to be durable. The diffs and the center drivetrain is also from the Kyosho Inferno Neo 1/8 scale buggy, which is promising, especially since the MAD Van had notoriously weak diffs. This also means that the truck's slipper clutch can be swapped for the center diff of the buggy. The beefy center brace also adds stiffness to the chassis and will hopefully keep the aluminum chassis deck from bending. The bottom of the truck is very smooth and mostly flat, and will keep it from getting caught on rough terrain and will lead to less walks of shame to flip the truck over from its roof. The wheels are 2.8 inch 12mm hex, and the tires are pre-glued with foams. The compound seems like a good balance of grip and longevity, which is nice. It's nice to see that manufacturers give us usable tires out of the box, unlike some other brands, Traxxas / Stampede, and Tamiya. There's also a wheelie bar out back that is adjustable. Out of the box it's set pretty low, so I raised mine a bit to keep it out of the way, and also for a little taller wheelies. The truck overall looks very tough and promising. Couple things to note before running. When I pulled the truck out of the box, there was a lot of drivetrain slippage. This was because the wheel nuts weren't tightened down all the way, and I wasn't the only one to have this issue out of the box, so I would keep an eye on it. They are serrated lock nuts though, so once it was tightened down, it should stay. The truck also has a very tight battery tray, so if you want to use a 3S battery, it needs to be close to the size of a 2S battery or modify the tray to fit larger batteries. Finally, the ESC and servo are listed as waterproof, but the motor has no such listing, and the receiver box is not a waterproof receiver box, so I wouldn't go plunging it into a river or anything. But with that all said, let's take this outside and see how this runs. So being such a tough looking truck with an oversized brushless motor, let's see how this thing goes. And it's kind of disappointing. To be fair, the truck is fairly heavy and it's only running on 2S, but it's not as punchy as I was expecting, and it's not as exciting as the MAD Van or the Armored VLX vehicles were, also on 2S. This could be because the motor, despite being a larger motor than the MAD Van, is only 2850 kV, while the MAD Van has a 4000 kV motor. The ESC is an 80 amp ESC though, so that should mean it can be upgraded with a more powerful motor later. It's also rebranded Hobbywing Max 10, so the Hobbywing programming card works on it. I turned up the punch level and also turned up the braking force because that also felt uncomfortably weak. If you don't already have a programming card, I would account for that in the cost of the truck because I think it is a necessary purchase. The shocks also feel like the front is constantly bottoming out, even on minor bumps, and the overall handling doesn't feel great. The shocks were also very disappointing. Being plastic bodies is fine, but having preload clips and plastic eyelets on a close to $400 truck seems kind of insulting to me. This could also be forgiven if the shocks were at least set up well, but they really aren't. The rears feel passable, but the fronts are completely awful. The shock oil was too thin, there wasn't enough preload, and the springs don't feel great either. So I increased the preload and added 80 weight low C shock oil to the front shocks only. And the truck overall felt better, though I'm still not entirely pleased with it. After the adjustments I made, the truck really woke up and became more enjoyable to drive. On road, the lower center of gravity minimized rollovers, and on the occasions it did, it landed back on its wheels most of the time. The extra punch from the new settings also made the truck able to wheelie and even backflip. Even if it was only on 2S, it was a massive improvement. It still wasn't a speed demon by any means, but it was punchy enough to be very, very exciting to drive. The tires also grip nicely to the pavement, but also allow for just enough slippage to be fun to use. Off-road, the truck kicked up plenty of rooster tails and dust, which was very, very fun to watch. The truck had a lot of understeer and didn't really want to kick the rear as much, though. And the time when the rear did kick, it often just spun out completely. Understeer is fine, though, for most bashing uses, though, since it's easier to control than oversteer. But with the shock adjustments I made, it seemed to handle the rough terrain decently. Jumping was also nice thanks to the low center of gravity, and it was very easy to land the truck and to control it in the air. Overall, the truck became fun to drive even with just minor adjustments. The suspension was still a bit bouncy, but it wasn't to an extent where the truck became unpleasant to drive, so I think that's passable. One area I was very impressed with, though, it was the durability. So for all the abuse I put this thing through, it never broke or even cracked a single part. The body seemed thin at first, and it's not reinforced like the Traxxas bodies are, but even after heavy abuse, crashing it and landing on its top many times on pavement, and the truck is also fairly heavy. The body cracked at certain spots, but it didn't really come apart, and I don't really blame the body for this. It's amazing, honestly, that the body didn't just completely come apart by now. And whether it was crashing it into the dirt, a pole, curbs, pavement, the truck seemed to handle all the abuse that I threw at it. Also, the truck accidentally ended up submerged in the river a little bit, but it survived unscathed. Other than the tire foams being filled with water, which is annoying, but not a difficult issue to fix. So, does this mean that the truck is invincible? Of course not, but it did stay together much better than the MAD van, so for my use, I was very pleased. So my main purpose in checking out the MAD wagon was to compare it to the MAD van. I think the MAD wagon was more enjoyable, a more enjoyable truck to drive overall, even though it wasn't as exciting to drive right off the bat, because a working truck is always more fun than a broken truck. If you are looking for a Kyosho basher, the MAD wagon is definitely more worth the money than the MAD van. The van will win beauty contests every time, but the wagon will handle much more abuse and overall handle much better. And even the disparity in initial cost, the MAD van will catch up to that in just parts cost alone. And also, after just a simple adjustment of the ESC, the MAD wagon became just as exciting to drive as the MAD van, so MAD wagon all the way. If you're looking for the best value 110 scale 4-wheel drive brushless monster truck though, I don't think this truck is for you. It is significantly more expensive than its competition unless you find it with a coupon or on sale. And the other trucks have more pros than this one. Absolutely only buy this truck if you can find it on sale for $360 or less. The ARMA vehicles are less expensive and are just as durable. And when they do break and need to be fixed, have much better part support and easier serviceability with their modular design. The chassis layout of the MAD van also leads to debris becoming more difficult to remove from the chassis as well, whereas with the ARMA vehicles, that spring-loaded drive shaft makes things super easy to clean out. Trucks like the team-associated rival MT10 also has a center diff and sway bar out of the box and is also less money than the MAD wagon. I can't comment on the durability of that truck since I haven't tested it myself, but from what I've heard, it seems like a pretty durable truck. And the part support for that truck is also pretty good as well, being a US-based company. The MAD wagon is also longer than the Granite and Rival MT10 and Stampede, but shorter than the Big Rock or Short Course truck, so I'm not sure which bodies will fit this truck. Kyosho does offer the body in clear, but if you want a different style of body, you may need to do some extra research. With all the complaints I have about the MAD wagon though, I do think it is a pretty promising truck. The chassis seems to be plenty durable and handle well, and a bit more tweaking and tinkering I think should get this truck to become a very nice driving truck. The overall design of the chassis is also very nice and high quality. The motor temps, even with the punch bumped up, stayed reasonable. The truck stayed reliable, and Kyosho does offer US-based stock of parts, and the parts seem like they're reasonably priced. So for someone who likes to tune and tinker or just wants something different from the status quo, I think the MAD wagon is a very nice truck, and I think it is a truck worth checking out and keeping around. I hope everyone found this video entertaining or informative, and as always, have a great day and have fun with RC.